What's going on, everybody? Once again, we have our Meet the Creators episode here, and we have an excellent show. My name is Louis Joseph. I'm the CEO and founder of iBoss Entertainment.
And hello, everyone. My name is Amrita Khalsa, Director of Marketing for iBoss Entertainment. Joining you again for another Meet the Creators episode, and especially this film too. It's such an exciting and something that we really haven't explored so far in some of our Meet the Creators series. So I'm really excited to get into this one.
Absolutely. And it's a fun movie. We are going to have a good treat for you today. We have the creator of Consequences, which is playing on iBoss TV. Go check it out, iBossTV.com. If you are tuning in on Meet the Creators for the first time, Meet the Creators is all about introducing you to the brilliant minds of independent creators and filmmakers out there that are telling you good stories, whether it makes you laugh, cry, angry, make you make a decision, make you do something. They are really doing some awesome work. So we want you to know the behind the scenes and get to know what inspires these kind of storytelling. So we want to bring that to the forefront so you can learn more about that. And before we get going, definitely check out our website, iBossEntertainment.com. You can see everything we got going on, and also follow our social media, iBoss Entertainment, and also, Discord, Instagram, Facebook, all that. All right. So with that said, we're going to get started. You ready, Amrita?
Yep.
All right. All right. So we're going to introduce you to the actor, star, all right, star and filmmaker of Consequences, Tony Tambi. Let's bring him on board.
Hello.
Hey, welcome. How's it going, Tony?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on board and, spending your time with us.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to dive into your the movie that you have here on iBoss TV, and but before we really get into it, let's give the viewers a sense of what this movie is all about. So let's roll it.
Great.
The Swahili say, do not throw away your copper
for the sake of gold's glitter. No one listens to Africans.
You know who we are. 419, con man. Back then, we did it to survive. But today, we call ourselves con man with a conscience.
You want me to send thousands of dollars to some African country to some guy I've never met?
This is good. But I'm more interested in what we Americans call joint venture.
Tito, reformed Yahoo boy, finds the target and comes up with the plan. Sebastian, Tito's right-hand man, lawyer 9 to 5, Robin Hood 5 to 9. Everyone knows him in athlete, the chameleon. Hard as nails, cold as ice, quick hands, guys. Don't let that pretty face fool you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Jack the Hack.
So, in other words, it's just a basic con, and we're using an internet scam pitch.
But you do more than just hack, though. I mean, you're married to Isabel. She's not here. Is she no longer doing this?
Isabel?
Why don't you ask Isabel?
Doing the wrong thing, even if it's for the right reasons, is still by definition the wrong thing.
They're depending on me.
The girls and I are depending on you too.
You guys don't look like con men. Hopefully you're better thieves.
Well, we prefer the term wealth redistribution experts. None of us is doing this for the money.
You keep living in denial.
What happened to us?
No, you lied to me. You keep looking for love in all the wrong places.
So is this revenge or business?
Our business is revenge.
I'm just playing with you guys. Nah, we're here to do this job, so what's next?
Awesome, 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 awesome
Right.
movie to watch. I enjoyed every bit of it. So, Tony, tell us a bit about yourself and also what inspired you to come up with the story Consequences. Where did it originate from?
Okay. So well, I could start. I was born in Nigeria. My mom is Nigerian. Moved to Cameroon when I was 7. So raised in Cameroon, moved to the U.S. in my early 20s. Went to college in Minnesota. Kept moving west. Found myself in California to pursue this thing we do, being entertainment. Make movies, tell stories, and all of that. So working as an actor, we hustle, different things happen. And I started realizing that a lot of the roles being offered to people like us who are African um, were, I'll call them one dimensional. So I wanted to tell a story about characters that I would consider three-dimensional, you know, and just offer a different perspective of the African immigrant experience. A lot of times people think, when you think African, you think somebody who can't speak English, you think refugee, you think famine, you think of all the crazy things happening in Africa. Um,
Mhm.
but sometimes we're just people like everyone else who we all want the same things. Um, so one thing that people think about again is the Nigerian prince. I'm sure you guys have all received emails from my cousins in Nigeria telling you they got some money to share with you. um,
No.
I mean, so well, not my cousins, anyways. I hope not, but there's all those emails going around, and it's become something that's big. And I just figured, what if someone did that as a kid? Because it's typically teenagers who do that. Then you come to the U.S. and you see firsthand the effects of what you did on the people around you.
Mhm.
So, like, you see the woman who's lost her life savings because she believed that you needed this money or things like that. So now these guys did that, came to the US, saw firsthand the ill effects of what they did, and decided to use the skills they learned as scammers for good and only scam bad people. So
Mhm.
pretty much, like with every movie about con men, like Ocean's 11,
Mhm.
Confidence, same thing, same concept. A group of guys come together and they're trying to scam somebody. In this case, this guy's only scam bad people. So it's not just people with money, but it has to be a bad person. And
Mhm.
they were all what they call Yahoo boys initially, people who send those emails to you telling you, hey, I got some money. I'm dying on to leave the money to the church. I got some money. I need some help getting some money out of the country, stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
just thought it would be great to show that other side of the African immigrant experience, show a different type of African story compared to what we're used to seeing in TVs, movies. And a lot of
Mhm.
times, with the other movies, they give you a chance to go behind the mind of a con artist.
Right.
Mhm.
While whenever you see a documentary about scamming, it's called scamming, So that was my problem. When Americans do it, they're called con artists. It's like there's a craft to it, there's tact,
Right.
there's a technique, there's a style. When an African does it, oh, he's a artist. And I'm like, it takes the same amount of skill, same amount of technique, same amount of patience, same amount of planning. Why is
Mhm.
ours getting a different
Image.
yes, why is it being shown as something different? So that's what I was trying to do, just connect those two worlds. And
Nice.
tell a story that will be fun, entertaining, and hopefully teach people about the different scammers out there and how you can protect yourself.
Nice. And I love this underlying message that you're displaying as well. It's obviously great entertainment, but still the background of how you develop this story and everything too. So, how did you figure out the cast that was going to portray these characters that you wanted?
Okay, so for me, there's 5 leads in the show. There's the character Tito, there's Isabel, who's Tito's sister. They all came to the
Mhm.
US together, and Sebastian. Those
Mhm.
three were friends. I have them as Cameroonians. Those three were kids growing up together in Cameroon. Um, and then Isabel gets here, she gets married to Jack Hansen. And then the guys also meet somebody who's an actual con artist in Iminathi, who's African American. Um, so for me, it was quite easy I just went with my friends. They're all my friends. I was looking for something to do where we could tell the story, but also work with your friends. Because to me, that's the ultimate goal. When you work with family and friends, it doesn't feel like work anymore.
Right.
So I wanted to. I wrote all the, with all those characters in mind. I wanted to write, and Constance Ejuma, who plays Isabel, and Bambajan Bamba, who plays Sebastian, are two very dear friends of mine that I've worked with and known them since I got to LA in the early 20s, early 2000s. And I was looking for something we could do to get us to work together again. And I also knew John. Ebony Adams, who plays Iminathi, we found later through an audition process. We just wanted to round out the cast. Yes, but they were friends. They were all friends of mine who were fabulous actors, and I produced it with them. They directed some episodes as well. Just get your friends and family to work with you and have fun that way.
Yeah, definitely. I could tell in the chemistry that they all had that they're probably friends, outside, behind the scenes and everything. And one thing you mentioned, because you mentioned some of the different backgrounds and your transition in different countries and things of that nature, and you brought up some other dialects on there, French, you know, and
Yes,
everything.
so that was something I wanted to do as well. Bambajan is originally from Ivory Coast, and they're a French-speaking country. Cameroon is also French-speaking. We speak English and French. So I wanted to throw in a little bit of just showing the fact that the guys can speak more than one language, because
Right.
that's typically a sign of intelligence. So that's what I wanted to do, and again, show them in just different situations from what you normally see, like people who could just switch up languages, people who is a lawyer by day doing this at night.
Mhm.
The girl who plays my sister Isabel, Constance Ajuma, is a pharmacist. So just show people in different settings compared to, you rarely see. I can guarantee that there's practically no show on TV or movie where you have seen a lawyer who has African origins. Think about it, and I promise you nothing will come to mind.
Hmm.
Or a pharmacist or a doctor, unless they're on the continent of Africa. But that's really not the case. You go to a hospital, there's doctors from various African continents. You go to a pharmacy, you meet lawyers. It's the same thing, but
Mhm.
they are just not represented. And that was big for me, just showing that and still telling that entertaining story as well.
Yeah. And thinking of that, what were some of like the additional struggles you may have faced when growing up and trying to pursue this acting career and then also creating films as well? Can you speak to some of that?
Oh yeah. So with us Cameroon Nigerians, it's you got to be a doctor, a lawyer. Like even doing this was such a far off concept. I went to school for accounting. I have an accounting degree. I
Mhm.
graduated, worked in it for 6 months, and I'm like, you know what? I fulfilled my duty to my parents. Let me pursue what I wanted to do. I packed my bags, moved out here. So it was difficult. Just people don't. It's such a tough business to be in, and I understand now. Now that I have kids, I understand why parents wouldn't want their kids to do it. I understand why my friends were all skeptical. Everybody's like, "Dude, how are you doing this? You graduated, you have a chance at a good job. What's the point of doing this?" So you come here. There's a lot of competition. There's a ton of talent in Los Angeles, and now with the internet, you're not competing with people only from Los Angeles. You're competing with people worldwide. So it's just a continuous grind. You have to stay focused. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to keep looking for ways to get better every day, every month, every year. And then we're creating this story. The biggest problem we had was money, 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 money. You're trying to do something. All of the actors worked for free.
Mhm.
We'd have to get locations and hope that we could get them for free. It's typically money. It's hard to finance your projects. A lot of it was self-financed. We did a crowdfunding campaign, which was the
Mhm.
first time for me on Indiegogo, just absolutely crazy. But there was a ton of support, um, and that enabled us to do as much as we wanted to do. We still couldn't do all of what we wanted to do, but you just have to fight and struggle, really believe in what you're trying to do. And there's going to be a bunch of no's, but still know that there's an end goal that you want to reach, regardless of of how many no's you get, regardless of how much you have. You have to figure out ways to work around it. A lot of our locations were friends who would give me the apartment to use.
Mhm.
We have this really beautiful restaurant. A friend of mine, an actress, manages the restaurant, so she would let us shoot in there at off hours. So it was kind of tricky. It was kind of tricky because we had like a very limited time to be in there and to get what we wanted to get done. We were working with a skeleton crew, so we'd have the DP who was also acting as a gaffer.
Mhm.
Who's also doing the lighting, doing all the little electrical stuff. So, and all of us would double. I was acting, but I was directing as well. I directed a bunch of segments. I had another guy who, the lead, Sebastian Bamba Jambamba, directing as well. And then we were all producing as well together. So you just have to wear multiple hats. That's the only way you can save money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you were to look back at the way you went about the process and putting it all together, would there be anything you would do differently?
Um, I think I'll plan better and don't hope for, don't leave so many things up to chance.
Mm,
Get in, have a set budget in mind, and then start with that. I started without enough money, so it was like, okay, we got to figure it out as we go.
mhm,
And then I also let. There was an issue I had where not everyone always gets the vision, and
mm,
not everyone will love your baby as much as you love your baby.
mhm,
So you have to understand the difference between what somebody's offering to you as a suggestion as opposed to the vision you had in mind. So listen to everybody, be willing to take what's better and use that to make your project better. I spent a lot of time just trying to make everyone happy.
mm,
No, let's do it like this. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it like that, just to make them happy. But it wasn't necessarily the right thing for the project.
mm.
It didn't always help the story I was trying to tell or the vision that I was trying to go with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering with bringing a cast in to tell the story that you're envisioning, did you sometimes have to rewrite certain parts of this or did it go as planned?
Oh no, no, it didn't go as planned. There'll be some days we wouldn't have a cast member available because you're working for free. If you have a real audition from for a real project, please go and go make some real money or give yourself a chance to make some real money.
Mhm.
So there'll be days where we'll have to rewrite a scene and just take a character out. There's three of us right now. Change it up, and whatever I'm supposed to say, have two of you say it, and just, you know what I mean. So we had to do that a lot. We would plan a location, and then the guy's like, you know what, I don't have the location available for you anymore. It was free. So then we'd have to, okay, you know what, where else can we shoot this? We're just going to do it on the street and get, so we had to do a lot of that, a lot of times, a lot of times. That's the only way you could just, it's guerrilla shooting. You just, independent filmmaking, you just
Right.
fit things together where they can, cut out some scenes, add some scenes,
Mhm.
and keep going.
Yeah, got to get creative to get creative.
Exactly. I love that. Yes, you got to get creative to get creative.
Excellent, excellent. And now, one of the things about the movie or the series, because I noticed is also you continuing it. It seems.
Yes,
So
yes.
no spoilers here. No spoilers. And there's a theme of 419, and it plays out. And there's a history, a little bit of history that was provided in there. Um, Educate us a little bit about that, and you kind of embedded that a little bit just to
Yes.
play that
So
theme.
419 refers to the Nigerian Penal Code that deals with fraud.
Mm,
So 419 now became the term referring to anybody who was trying to do anything fraudulent,
mhm.
like crypto. I'm not a big crypto person, so forgive me, crypto people out there. Crypto just sounds like
I'm
some
a
shady
crypto
stuff to
guy.
me. Yeah, sorry. I've been through
I'm
crypto
just
before. You guys are probably in a crypto. I don't know, but
All
it's
of
like,
us, all of us.
all the
there
way.
we go. Yeah, we're all trying to invest the money in here and there. And I guess it is legit, so I take that back. But so yeah, 419 Nigerian Penal Code that had to do with fraud, and so anything that is related to fraud, we just call it 419. So if somebody comes to you with an offer that's too good to be true, you're just like, yeah, that sounds like 419. So the kids sending the emails, internet scamming, that's all 419. That's what it's been called in general.
Okay.
Those are called 419 emails.
And you know, when it comes to, and is there any behind the scenes stories that you want to share with us that would be funny, or something that, hey, I gotta tell the audience this, things that happen behind the scenes?
Oh wow, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about it. I'm trying to think about it. Nothing comes to mind right now. Um, Nothing comes to mind right now. But oh, like the kids. There's two kids you see in the beginning of the show,
Hmm.
and those are my kids.
Oh.
And I was having them work for me, free labor, obviously. It was great, free child labor. And they didn't know it was going to be so many takes.
Mm.
So there's a scene where we tell them, like, just act like you're bored and you don't really care what's going on. And they nailed it because that was about the eighth or ninth take. And they were just, Daddy, like, why do you guys have to keep doing this so many times? Why? We just did it. I'm like, well, because the sound wasn't good then. Well, because you messed up what I wanted you to say then. They're like, but it's still the same meaning. Like, why do we have to keep doing it again? So by the last take, which is the take we used, they would just like act like you're bored or pretend like you're not interested in what your parents are saying. And they were just like this, like they literally were so out of it. Like it was a real moment. It wasn't, they weren't acting at that point in time. They were just literally sick of the whole thing and everything. They didn't know it was going to be take after take after take after take after take. But yeah, those are actually my kids.
Well, I would say that, they did an awesome job, so you wouldn't be
Thank
able
you.
to tell in those
Thank you.
clips. So they did well.
Yeah. And you sharing more about, like, it's not just like this big glamorous lifestyle too. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that can be exhausting to put in. So what would you say, in thinking about like how your kids too, they were just like, I didn't think it would be like this. So what would you say to young people now that are trying to get into this industry, and facing some of the societal struggles as well that we're seeing in our world today? What would you tell some of them?
That's true. That's a good point. For me, again, it starts with honesty. You have to be honest with yourself about why you want to do this. Where we're good, like you said, you see the end product, but you don't think about what happened to get you to that point. Kind of like you see the people in the red carpet, and you don't think about the amount of work that's been done to get there. So, honesty in terms of making sure that um, you know why you want to get into this. Like you want to tell a story, you want to make a difference. When you get up, all you think about doing is acting. If you're getting in for maybe for the fame and you're trying to make some money, yes, you could. It could be 2 days, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months,
Hmm.
it could be 20 years. Um, but what happens is if you're getting in it for for a purpose, if your reward is the work you do, then it doesn't feel like two weeks or 20 years. You're just in it and you're doing what you have to do. So you have to be honest as to why you're getting into it. You also have to know that there's a lot of work involved. There's a ton of competition. What makes you better than the next person? A lot of times you're not better, but you have to figure out a way to stand out.
Hmm.
So you have to know you got to put in the work. And honesty also involves having some talent. If you don't have talent, don't waste anyone's time. Like it's kind of a mean thing to say, but really don't waste anyone's time. It shows. It shows when you don't have talent. And
Yeah.
so it's okay to get in without talent if you believe you have a purpose, but you have to get training. So
Right.
young people, I would say, be honest with yourself about why you want to do this. Be honest with yourself about the amount of talent you have. Know how you could get better at what you're doing. So think about training. Think about anything you can do to get yourself better every year, so you can compete in the workplace. Remember that there's an art form, but it's also a business. You have to do the business side of things. Agents, managers, showing up in time. Um, Being respectful, learning, networking. You have to do the business side. As much as there's the fun side of acting, you have to do the business side. So just get in and be ready to work. I'm not one who says, "Oh, if there's nothing if you can do something else, go do it. No, no. If you want to do this, come and do it. It's a career like anything else. You could be a journalist, a musician, an athlete, a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, go to the army. It's a career like anything else, but you have to understand it's a different type of career. You could have a certain amount of training, doesn't guarantee you a job. Most people go to school, you get a 4-year degree, and you know this is where I'm going to go work. It's not the same. So you have to understand that difference. Understand the difference. Understand why you're getting in. On come in and plan and have fun, because it is a lot of fun, but it's also going to be a ton of work. But yes, think about why you want to do it. And then one important thing for young people is make sure you have a support network of people. Your parents, your family, and friends may not get why you're doing what you want to do, but you have to continuously sell what you're doing to them. Like do some work, do a short film, show it to them. Like, hey, you see, I actually have talent. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I have a day job. I have a side hustle. So I'm not going to ask you for money. I can pay my rent. I'm not starving. I'm not homeless. Because that's really why our parents and our family and our friends don't want us getting into it. They understand the struggle. So you have to let them know, okay, I'm not struggling. I'm hustling, but I'm not struggling. And this is what is required for me to get there. I have to keep doing a bunch of these. Then one day I'm going to get an opportunity, which will lead to more opportunities. And then also get in and be ready to diversify. Don't just come in and say you want to be an actor, because then you're waiting for someone to call you and offer work to you. Create your own content. See what you can do. There's so many outlets right now. There's a ton of shows on iBossTV.com. Like, come on, there's a ton of outlets, people showcasing the work that people like us are doing. So come in, create your own content. Don't just sit, see how you can write, create, see what else you can do other than wanting to be an actor, see how you can produce. There's so many other things you could do. Just stay busy, stay focused. And like I said, it could take 2 days for you to become a working actor. It could take 20 years. Be ready for either one of those. Yes.
Yeah. And I love and that goes, I think, for like a lot of careers, just knowing your specific purpose, and then planning for it. So when that opportunity does come, you are ready for it and you're prepared to show people what you have, and the talents that you can bring to them too.
Definitely. Yeah, for me, a big thing for me is like, to me, I've and you have to figure out what your purpose is. Like, to me, mine is to show, to use my work to show a different perspective of the African immigrant experience and figure out ways to bridge the gap between the African and the African American.
Yeah. And I think your purpose, you can see that within the film and your work as well. So just like highlighting that, I think, is super important. So we talked about kind of like the struggles. What was like your favorite part of creating Consequences, filming it, or acting in it? What like brought you the most joy?
Just for me, working with family and friends, like seeing my kids do that. Seeing working with my friends, like I wrote the role for Constance Ajuma and Bamba Jambamba. I wrote the role specifically for them. I'm with John Tay, because the people that have known in acting class, known for a bunch of years. So the most rewarding thing was the finished product. Having an idea, a little concept that's nothing. It's just some thought in your head, getting it down on paper, it becomes a script, and then now doing all the work to actually get it to be made. And then just, if one random person reaches out to me and just says, "Oh, dude, I saw Consequences, and I loved this scene," that's enough. That's just, to me, that was the biggest thing. That was the biggest joy. But for me, it was a joy every day. I went with this motto because it was stressful, but I go with more blessed than stressed, because I had a bunch of my friends working, a bunch of talented people working with me. For free, all coming together because of me. So just seeing that happen every day we shot was just knowing that that was a blessing in of itself. Being able to do what we love doing, being able to tell the kind of story we want to tell, that was a blessing in of itself. But for me, the finished product is just every single time somebody says, "I saw this, and oh my God, this reminded me of this. This reminded me of that." I remember when we premiered it, there was a friend, not really a friend of mine, but there's a meal that we eat. It's called puff puff and beans. Puff puff is like a fried beignet type thing, and we eat it with beans. So my character Tito is doing that as he's sending an email, and somebody reached out saying, "Oh, guess what? I just got home. I was ready to watch Consequences, and I was eating puff puff and beans, and then I ended up saying that your character was eating it, and that somehow made their day, and in a strange way, that made my day as well too. Just the fact that it could connect. Um, People got little things out of it that I never thought were going to be anything. So that was, to me, that's the reward of itself. Like just those little moments when somebody tells you, "Oh, this affected me," or "I enjoyed this," or "this made me laugh," or "this made me think." There's even a point where we tell people, Sebastian's character tells people like, "Don't put home on your GPS.
Mm.
Like you can put the address, but if you put it as home, whoever gets into your car, back when we still used car GPS systems, will know how to get to your home. And you probably have like a garage opener in your car, and they will be able to get into your house, which is what we did in the movie. So a lot of people reached out and saying, "Oh my God, I never thought about that," but that's a very good point. So to me, the goal was teaching people how you could avoid being scammed, and that actually hit home. So that right there, that was beautiful for me.
I think it's there's two things there. When you see a scene and it resonates with you and connect, and for me, I can relate to that because, natively I was born in Haiti, and I grew up in
Okay,
Boston. So when I started to see the French speaking, I was like, oh, here you go. And then there
that's
was a
it.
scene where it was about, I believe it was about, the different cultures and whether they're scam artists or not, and they one of the guys saying, "Where you're from?" And then and then
Yes, yes,
he was
yes,
like,
yes.
"I'm from New York." And then the next time they asked him, "Where you're from?" I'm from Haiti.
Yes, that's right. That scene,
And
we're
I was
trying
like,
to
"Oh,
show
here
that
you go."
fraud is international. Like,
Right,
unfortunately, when people think of fraud, they're like, "Oh my God, the Nigerian prince." But I'm like, no, everybody scams everybody. Like, fraud is international. Like, you could
right.
be from Texas, you could be from Florida, you could be from Haiti, anywhere. But
Mhm.
there's bad people everywhere. So don't. That's the first misconception you have to get out of the way. There's bad people everywhere, and that gets you better prepared. Oh, I'm glad you loved that part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I loved it, man. When I saw that, I said, "Oh, here you go." I connected with that. That was excellent. And the scene about the home, we actually have a clip of that, and I want to give the viewers a sense of how you creatively drove that message of trying to also teach people about how to not get scammed. So let's
Nice,
show
nice.
how you actually put that on screen, because part of the movie making process, not just having the script and having the story, but how you actually film it and present it to the audience to drive your point. So let's show a
That's
clip of
great.
that right
That's
now.
great. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Tip numero uno. Showing up at the same place at the same time every day makes you predictable. And tip number two, putting your home address as home in your car's GPS tells everyone where you live.
I like that. I like that.
Excellent,
That was
excellent.
great.
And the
Thanks
way
for
you
that.
did that really connected. I'm like, oh, I mean, even that's still relevant now, even though, you were talking about GPS then, but on your phone, you have GPS, and if you program certain addresses, your phone gets stolen, and you're seeing mom's address, aunt's address, cousin's
I know,
address, and
right?
everything.
The phone is a tough one. The phone is a tough one, because we got to do it. It's so convenient. But in the
Right.
car, back then, in the car was like work, home. The home was tricky because I get to your home with your car.
Hmm.
You typically would have a garage opener or something in there, and it was easy to get into your house. Easy access, easy access. So yes, but that was one of the stylistic devices we used, was breaking the fourth wall, where our characters would turn and talk to the audience, as part of that teaching process. And I loved that one. Bamba nailed it. He nailed it. It was a really real cool moment. I loved it.
And what made you choose that sort of route to do that? Like, what inspired that?
Just so my thing was to show people what the character was thinking without making it a voiceover. So I'm like, you know what? Let's have fun with it. Let's just turn around, let them know what we're thinking. So I think all the characters do it at different points in time in the movie, where they turn it to the camera and just drop a little nugget of wisdom. Yeah, so for me it was just a stylistic choice. a lot of movies break the fourth wall, or they may have a voiceover or one of those things. I felt the fourth wall was cool.
Yeah.
Cool way to go.
Yeah.
And
And I
and
think
and
it, like, sorry, it allows you to really connect with those characters too. And then, like, if you're like the audience member, you're really like just like connecting or getting the insight into like what they're thinking as well. So it's really bringing in the audience and more into what's happening.
Yes, yes.
it works. It was great, and it wasn't too much of it as well. It was just the right amount to
Thank you.
keep you connected with their thoughts as well as the story. So it wasn't, overwhelmingly every other scene.
Like I've ever seen somebody's turning you talking.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
no,
at
appreciate
first when
that.
I saw it, I was like, okay, maybe you're gonna see that all the time, but it was a few far in between. So it was really, really well, put together.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
There's another clip where you use the French speaking to get some things done as far as conning.
Yes.
I thought that was a funny scene as well. So let's roll it as well. So so the viewers can see some of the fun scenes in this movie. So let's roll
Bien sûr, bien sûr. Allons-y.
Hey, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
Mais ce mec-là, il me raconte quoi? J'ai besoin de ma voiture! D'accord? Je suis désolé, monsieur. I know what car it is. I can get it.
Wait, who are you?
Oh, I speak French, so they got me to help with monsieur Ray. Hey, je n'ai rien à foutre avec toi, d'accord? Donne-lui les clés immédiatement. He wants you to help him. Go, 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 go.
Sometimes I see monsters, or sometimes I fly, go wherever I...
That was hilarious.
Yeah, so one concept with a lot of scamming is if somebody's in need of a doctor and you show up and say you're a doctor, we believe it because that's what we need. So the guy is there, somebody's speaking French to him and is like, okay, what can I do? If I show up claiming to speak French, claiming that I work there, he's not going to go, when did you start working? When did you do this? I'm dressed up like he is. Our bodies are inclined to go with what we need at that moment in time. You create a sense of urgency, like, oh my God, he needs help. This guy's upset. He's trying to take care of the customer. So obviously he's like, okay, he's never seen me before, but that just becomes second place to him satisfying the need, which is taking care of the other customer and getting the problem out of the way. So he's like, I don't know you. I'm like, yeah, dude, just go. And he goes. So just little things to show things to look out for again, like watch out for those. But yes, that was really fun. That was a fun scene. Interestingly enough, that we shot on the street. The restaurant we're trying to use, I made plans. They told us, oh, we can't use it. It's actually going to be open then. So we just put the valet thing on the street, on a deserted street, used our cars to get as much light as we could. That's why the lighting doesn't look so great. And we had the costumes. We just shot everything there. Took us about 3 hours.
Wow, now that's I mean, I couldn't tell you were not in front of a restaurant. I mean, it was well put together. I really thought you were in the valet stand. So
no, there was no restaurant in sight.
Yeah, nah, awesome. Yeah, that's how you get creative out there,
We had to. I met this guy. He had the equipment, he had the valet stand, and he had the uniform. So borrowed it, used it. Just, hey, you got to do what you got to do. What's the saying again? You got to get creative to be creative. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So consequences, obviously the theme of the entire series or in the movie. There's a lot more you can definitely do with it. I mean, there's so many other stories I could foresee you probably doing. So is there anything else you're working on in terms of continuing it? Anything coming down the pipeline? What's next for Consequences?
So Consequences was conceived as a web series. I mean, I originally wrote it as a TV pilot. It didn't get enough exposure, so I wanted to get it done. So I scaled back the vision and did a web series that was affordable that I could do. And in season 1, we go after a former NFL player who runs a charity organization, and he uses the money. He gets the money. He says it's going to be for starving kids in Africa, but he uses the money for himself. So that was like an easy target. And in season 2 of Consequences, we go after a pastor who's running the prosperity doctrine. Like, hey, money, money, money. You know how churches do. It's the big thing now. How churches are millionaires.
Yeah.
When someone in the congregation is sick, you pray for them. When the pastor needs a car, get him money to buy a jet type thing. So in season 2, we go after a pastor. We shot that. It's done, and it should be coming to iBoss TV quite soon.
All
Should be
right.
coming on there quite soon. Right now, I've been busy working on a TV show, Bob Hart's Abishola, that kind of tells the another immigrant story, immigrant American experience. So another fun show to work on. But that's what I've been keeping myself busy with at the moment.
Okay. And what's soon in terms of this year, next year? What are we looking forward to in terms of that?
This year for season 2. This
Ah,
year.
Nice.
This year should be coming to iBoss TV pretty soon. Season 2 of Consequences. This
excellent,
year.
excellent.
Yes.
Well, we can't wait to see the trailer and actually screen and see how the story evolved.
Yeah, it's great. That's something I'm gonna use bad English, a lot more prouder. That is bad English, but I'm just trying to show you how excited I am about it because
Mhm,
the
mhm,
story really took off with all the characters. We try to go bigger, we try to go bolder.
mhm.
It was really everything I said about doing in season 1. I did that in season 2. Got more friends involved, got a bigger cast, got a bigger crew. It was a lot. It was a very ambitious project, and I love how it came out.
I'm sure once it's out and everything, we'll talk about it more. But I guess I'll ask one question, which is that what did you do differently now in terms of your approach to season 2 and the lessons learned from season 1 that you're applying in this new project there for season 2?
Season two. So I went with more of my ambition. Season 1, I scaled it back so much because everybody was telling me it's a web series. Just make it as simple as possible, make it as basic as possible. Season 2, I did what I wanted to do. I wanted to tell a grand story to make you feel like it's it's a bigger world that we live in. I wanted to expand the world of Consequences. So there's some cool, interesting characters you see. And season 2 for me was about showing more of the family. We touched on family a little bit in season 1. Season 2 now was really showing. We see Sebastian's sister. We see Tito's older brother.
Mm,
We really jump into family. A big thing for me was showing behind the scenes of a con artist, like what's going on in their lives. A lot of times we just see them
mhm,
doing
mhm,
what they do, but we never really get to see what drives them. We never get to see the family side. We never get to see their personal lives.
mm,
So season 2 really gave me a chance to jump a little bit more into the personal lives of these characters while telling a grander and a bigger story at the same time, and going after the pastor. So it let us do two things. And if you see at the end of season 1, there's some unfinished business. So we went after that as well too. And there's some great um, surprises that you get to see in season 2. So I did a lot of things my own way, but I also still made the same mistakes I made in season 1. Um,
which is
you get in without having all the money in place. So now you're trying to like, okay, so this is not happening. Okay, well, I guess we got to do this. And then this was even worse. What I talked about in season 1, where if we didn't have a character available, like let's say Amrita can come today, we now
uh-huh.
make it a 2-person scene.
Mhm,
Season 2 had more 5 people scenes. They had a lot more bigger scenes. And now when one person couldn't make it, we had to go back to trying to figure out how to rewrite the scene and things like that. So those mistakes still happen. Um, I still depended on some people for free locations. So those fell through as well every now and then. Again, more blessed than stressed. There was more blessings
mhm,
than stressful things that happened,
mhm,
but there was still as many stressful things as we had in season 1. And this was a little bit crazier with a bigger cast and crew.
yeah, yeah,
So because I try to go, you know what, the DP worked so hard in season 1. Let's actually hire all the other people to make it go together. But then Once one person couldn't do certain things, the whole production had to shut down. So season one, we shot season one in 11 days.
Oh, wow.
Every day, we just shot every
Mm.
day. Season two was shot over September, October, November, December, January, February. Was shot over 6 months,
Mm.
where we could literally just get like one shooting day in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks. Like there'll only be one day where I can get everyone I wanted to be in that scene to be available at a certain time. So I kind of made it more difficult for myself because it was spread out. But I think the rewards are there. It shows it was a great labor of love, but it really shows. And when you guys get a chance to see it, you absolutely love it.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I know you say it's the same mistake, but for me, I'm saying I commend you for, finishing two projects literally for free. so and with minimal expenses. Yeah, a lot of, I guess you can say the lesson here, every project will have its challenges and some of them will be common, but to actually still start, finish, and then the next one, bigger vision, really implement what you really wanted to do compared to the first one and still get that done, even though it took a little longer, the journey was a little harder, but to actually get to that finish line and have that product and still overcame those budget constraints, I mean, and locations and stuff. To me, that's, I don't know if you say it's mistake or thing, but for me, I'll say, man, that's creative mistakes.
Oh yeah, no, it was crazy getting it done. But I mean, to me, the thing was once I decided that I was gonna start, I knew I had to finish. I wasn't gonna leave it halfway. There was people who were waiting to see it. There was people who had been excited about the project. So that was something I was lucky about. A lot of folks from season one were like, Tony, when are we doing the next season? What else are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? So, when people depend on you, it kind of gives you the additional strength. When you have a whole community behind you,
Yeah.
you could go further. You could go farther.
No,
Yeah.
awesome job. Awesome work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing the insight into this, and you can like tell your passion from it, and that makes me excited to just see what's coming from you and the next projects and everything. Understanding what the difficulties and excitement that was behind the project is definitely, as an audience person, I'm like, I definitely want to see how this turns out and keep following along your journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you would want to share with young filmmakers? Any tips, advice now that you've had all this experience with these two projects from behind the camera, in front of the camera? Any final one thing or two things that, hey, whatever you're doing, these two things keep in mind.
I think we'll just be reiterating what I said earlier. Like follow your passion, but be reasonable and be honest.
Mm.
Like be reasonable. Don't come in thinking. I remember moving here and thinking to myself from Minnesota, like, oh, I'm gonna be here in a couple of months. I'll be on a TV show. Like I wasn't reasonable at all. I was silly. I was not in the union. I didn't have enough experience. I didn't have enough training. So be reasonable. Have set reasonable goals, reasonable, honest goals, and follow your passion. But just and be willing to do the work. So I wish I could make it two things, but I would say be honest and be reasonable, and come in ready to do the hard work.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Y'all hear it right here. You know, completing one project, completing another project. We're very excited to see what season two is all about, and you've been able to really inspire myself. I'm sure Rita, she just mentioned as well, inspired by everything you're doing and what you're about to accomplish with the next season. So we are excited, and we're very happy that you've come here and shared your story with us. It's a pleasure, and and I can't wait to have you back. So I don't know if anything else you want to add, but this was excellent. I loved it.
Yes, I just thoroughly enjoyed this chat and getting to know you, and then the behind the scenes of how you envisioned this project and how it came to be, and then how you actually made it happen. So it's just very inspiring, and I think a lot of people can take these messages and bring that into their own work as well. So thank you.
Definitely. And thank you folks so much for having me on here. I really appreciate you guys giving an outlet to creatives like myself to at least to be able to tell their story. You guys have been great. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. And everyone out there, have a purpose, follow your passion, all right, and get it done. Go watch Consequences on iBoss TV. And by the way, stay tuned to the season 2 as well. So next time, we'll be talking to him again, and I'm sure it will be a great talk. So everyone, and Tony, thank you so much for being here with us, and we can't wait to have you back.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you. I can't wait to be back.
Wow. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Loved it. Loved the the work that went into it to actually see, some of the challenges that goes into completing this project, season 1 and season 2, and all the creative or getting resourceful, if you will, to actually, complete the project and everything like that. It's very inspiring. So, and the story to help people understand, being con and conning at the same time. It's well made. It's just well made. I mean, it's excellent. Y'all got to watch it.
Yeah, I love what that it's entertainment, but it has a message there as well. And he kept that message as he's continuing to build this story. And just hearing like it's just starts from this small little idea, and then all the people you have to get along, the production, all of the editing and producing that goes into it to this final product. And that there he has it now. And just seeing the passion he has behind it was great to hear.
And also, him talking about having a purpose. I think that's very important. It's something that's not to be missed, is because you can really see that play out even throughout the story, because you can feel the message through it. It was well put together. So having a purpose, not just why you do what you do, but the purpose of your project as well. What message does it have? What do you want to tell the audience? And he really kept that throughout the entire project. I mean, I can't wait to see season 2. I'm like excited now. So yeah, everyone. Thank you for tuning in on Meet the Creators. We definitely gonna bring you more creators that's doing awesome work on iBoss TV. Again, go to iBossTV.com, check out Consequences, and also go to iBossEntertainment.com, check out everything that we're doing, and subscribe to our newsletter and social media and all that good stuff. Okay, so until next time, you all have a great day, evening, morning, whatever time it is where you are, and we'll see you next time.